Welcome to the Beantown Beatdown. It's September. Got a few weeks to go before I can actually drink again. I've been clean and sober for almost 3 months.
Here.
Yes. Sobriety is still a bitch, and I've mostly been drinking juice and energy drinks. I mean, I'm starting to get a little addicted to the energy drinks too. Yeah, replacing one addiction with another one.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into some headlines. Over the weekend, good fight weekend.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw UFC Fight Night on Saturday as well as Bellator. Well, with Bellator, they signed Roy McDonald. He is now part of Bellator, and of course, it was announced that Michael Venom Page will fight Fernando Vargas at Bellator 163, November 22nd.
Okay.
And that will be main evented by, of course, the main event of that fight will be Michael Chandler and Benson Henderson for the lightweight championship. And Henderson, of course, that weekend, over that weekend too, the same weekend, he beat Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull hurt his ankle during the fight and actually stopped the fight himself. Yeah, I think it was because of the shin kicks, and stuff.
Yeah.
Almost like Anderson Silva, except it was a little less worse. And also, UFC Fight Night was on Fox, and Paige Van Zandt from Dancing with the Stars, she won her first fight back.
Okay.
Yeah, she beat Beck Rollins with a switch kick, jumping switch kick, like in Taekwondo and karate.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won that fight. And also on that same night, Donald Cowboy Cerrone won his fight, and so did Anthony Pettis, dropping down to featherweight. So hopefully he'll get a title shot there if he keeps on the winning track. And also Damian Maia earned the next title shot against the winner of Tyrone Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, choking out Carlos Condit.
Okay. All right.
And also, speaking of Dancing with the Stars, just a little quick thing. The new cast has actually been added. Just to name a few names, Rick Perry is going to be on there. Everyone's favorite Olympian, Ryan Lochte, is going to be on there.
I heard all about that.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be the first one to go, regardless of how well he does. Calvin Johnson from the Detroit Lions, he's going to be on there. Tara Jolie from Little Women, L.A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Little Person show. Also, Marsha Brady, the real Marsha Brady, Mari McCormack, is going to be on there.
Really? The original, the OG.
Yep. Babyface is going to be on there. One of my favorite R&B singers. By the way, Whip Appeal, good song to make love to. And also, for all you old school hip hop fans, Vanilla Ice Baby is going to be on there.
Oh, man.
You really think they're gonna? You think if he lasts long on the show, you think if they're gonna recreate his dance moves from the music video?
Yeah, they'd be hard pressed not to at some point, I'm sure.
Yep. Yeah, of course. And also saw Premier Boxing Champions over the weekend as well, and from Argentina, David Emmanuel Peralta defeated Robert the Ghost Guerrero in a huge upset. I mean, it was a 12-round fight. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
That fight. I mean, it was one of those fights where it could have gone either way, and pulled off a big upset, and hopefully he can be a new force in the welterweight division.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's it for the headlines. We've got a big fight next weekend, big fight weekend with boxing and the UFC. Talk more about that next week. So
All right, cool.
All right.
So I guess we're going on to macho doesn't mean this.
Yep.
So I'm going to be talking about there's a saying that people say, do what works for you, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Actually, I think it's one of those things that you've kind of lost the actual meaning of what that means, but that's something that everyone eventually has to do in order to be successful. You have to find what actually works for you and go for it, make it happen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And don't worry about if it doesn't seem right or it doesn't fit into other people's boxes of what they think you should do or what they've done to become successful. They're not you and you're not them. So that's something I've had to kind of learn and struggle with. I always I think, like a lot of us, self-conscious, wondering how I, not just like how I'm doing things or if I'm successful at doing things, but also how I look doing things, how I come off doing things. I think you and I can relate to this. Sometimes growing up like a little more socially awkward, that type of thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like for example, right around high school, like the Hilton the Hilton sisters were just being popular,
Right.
and also the Simple Life had just come on,
Yes.
and I watched a lot of the E True Hollywood Story on the Hilton sisters. I'd watch. Remember that show on VH1, The Fabulous Life, where they do the fabulous life of rich people?
Oh yeah.
Like the fabulous
like
life of Paris Hilton, the fabulous life of Kelly Ripa. And and I would also watch the Simple Life, and I got so caught up in that. It was sort of my escape,
right?
Because it was a world of being famous and rich, and
In the Simple Life, they're trying to be if I remember correctly, they're trying to be like a little more redeeming though, because they're like thrown into like regular everyday situations, and they're only allowed to use. It wasn't that the show. They're only allowed to use like $50 a day or something, and
well, they were also supposed to work regular jobs
and working regular jobs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and but of course with that show, I developed a huge crush on Nicole Richie. Yes, Lionel Richie's daughter.
Right.
And I developed a crush on her. Mostly because of her nose.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Okay,
so
okay.
What were you gonna say about that? All that though.
What I was gonna say is that it was a good escape for me. It was a good escape for me, seeing their rich lives and stuff like that, and seeing them do funny stuff, and I mean that was an escape. And also, I was a huge fan of pro wrestling. That was a huge escape for me. And
so you're saying that you kind of had to step out of your regular life, and and you were kind of aspiring to what they were showing.
Well, yeah. Also, I used to rap too.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a good freestyle rapper, but I was good at writing rhymes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to dream about if I make it as a rapper, I'm gonna be at the Palms casinos, and I'm gonna get myself a Hummer and have TV screens in the back seat and play video games. Because also Cribs was still around, and you see the cars and the mansions and stuff like that. So that was a good escape for me.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, you sometimes it's hard to find, but you do have to like work and find that thing that works for you, that way that works for you. And if it's writing everything down that you have to do, and during for the day, and like carrying that list around with you, that's fine. Don't worry about, like I said, we were talking before that, sometimes we feel a little awkward or that we, worried about looking stupid, let that go. You should, if carrying around a list and opening up that list and, making sure you've, checked off everything is how you have to do it, then, do it that way. Me, I like, I used to try and keep everything in my head. That doesn't really work. I don't like paper because I lose it, but I do like now on my smartphone you can make your own notes and stuff, and you can put events on the calendar and that type of thing. So that's what works for me, and that's what I use. So you really just have to, we're all finding our own way. You know what I mean?
Well,
We're all
yeah,
finding our
exactly.
own way here in life, and for some of us it's not always easy. Sometimes even doing the simple things that you have to do every day is not always easy. But you find the way that to adapt, and you go for it. And I've at the pharmacy I see people doing certain things that to me don't I don't understand, or like I'm finished with them in line. I'm trying to get them out of line. It's inconvenient. Sometimes it's inconvenient to me, as the employee, but to them, they have to do it that way. So if they have to have their list and then and put away and have these other stuff out during the transaction and then put everything away, then I can hold my breath and hold my not my breath, but I can refrain from growling and and let them do their thing for a few more seconds while they get together what they have to do, because once they step away from the counter, it's their life. It's their life, and whatever happens to them. And so I might not always care as much about what happens to them once they step away from the counter, but they're gonna have to care about it because it's their life. And so that's why you let them do what they have to do. And I've seen, we're obviously a somewhat big city. I've seen tourists around, and sometimes they have to be obnoxious with the map and the this and the that, and it's something that I wouldn't like to be seen. I wouldn't like to be caught dead with with a big map and a
Oh yeah,
list.
especially in New York City, because
yes.
I heard because my brother one time my brother's been in New York a few times, but he says that in New York people take advantage of people out of town.
Oh yeah.
And stuff
Oh yeah,
like
it's
that.
a very big thing over there. It's like it could it could be life or death, or it could be having all your possessions or not, looking like a tourist. So
Or you'll have a bunch of street gangs chasing you throughout the night, and you'll have to survive going on the subway. Little reference to Warriors.
Yes, exactly. For a second there, I thought you were talking about the Out of Towners. That's also a movie where they I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but anyway, it's there's two different versions. There's the original from like back in the day, like '67 or something, and then there's the new one that was made with Steve Martin, Goldie Hawn. But anyway, it's it's about these people from Middle America trying to survive, until this business meeting.
Well, yeah, I know that one.
You know that one, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've seen like previews and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So anyway, it's a whole big thing, and let's see. In the original movie, it's about having to deal with all these strikes. There's there's the airline strike, and there's the taxi strike, and blah blah blah. So all of these companies are striking, and so they can't get to the hotel and the places that they need to get to. But and then the new one is more it's more hyped up, and there's crazy scenarios and drugs involved. And anyway, but it's like that. It's like that. So you, especially if you're in a different place than usual, you do have to do what you have to do. But around here, you're not going to be, usually not going to be threatened life from limb if you have a map on you, so that's fine. But there, you got to adapt. You got to adapt. So anyway, I don't think we should begrudge anyone for how they have to adapt, to certain situations. They're doing what they have to do, to be successful and to make it happen. And then at the same time, we shouldn't be afraid to adapt in the ways that we need to. So I've gotten over, looking stupid, and that whole fear of looking stupid. If I have to do what I have to do, then,
By doing what you have to do, does this also have to include kissing your boss's ass?
That's a different thing, but some people do have to kiss their boss's ass in order to survive in the cutthroat corporate world. I would say that I'm glad that I don't have to, and in fact sometimes I purposely keep conversation to a minimum, but that's another way to go about it. But yeah, I personally would try and not kiss ass, as little as possible.
Oh yeah, because I couldn't kiss ass. I couldn't work, be that kind of person. My thing is DOS, DBS, DVD. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. DVD, death before dishonor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, death before dishonor.
For a second there, when you said DBS, I thought it was like, what? Death before servitude?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I couldn't be that kind of person. But you gotta you gotta have some kind of strategy in order to survive. Exactly. And once you have a strategy, also going for it and committing to it. That's it. That's the other thing. And we're all doing what we got to do, and sometimes I'm like, I have a goal in mind and I'm on the path, and it's like I'm doing it this way. Get out of my way because I've got some greatness to achieve. Oh yeah, exactly. I'm the same way too. Granted, it gets me in a little trouble because I got that tunnel vision. But,
right.
But at the end of the day, when you're striving for something, you gotta fulfill your agenda, not everybody else's agenda.
Exactly.
Including your boss. Your boss is like, well, this is my company, and I need you to do this. It's like, well, I'm gonna do the work, but I'm here to fulfill my agenda, not your agenda.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Also, I did promise the last time we did the show a story about a wet dream, and I did say this involved a cast member from the Bad Girls Club.
Okay. All right. So, caveat granted. Go ahead and do it.
Oh, yeah.
But this is not part of my segment.
Okay.
Moving on to Matt's dream.
Well, actually, you actually might like this because in all my dreams where I'm looking for you and stuff like that, and you're not there, I actually found you this time. Well, what happens is this.
Do I want to be found in this dream? I don't know.
Oh, I think maybe. Maybe you might want to be found in this one.
Okay. What happened?
Well, Natalie Nunn from the Bad Girls Club?
Guess so.
Yeah, she was also on Bridezilla, with her current husband now, and she was also on Marriage Boot Camp one season. She's a total bitch on that. I mean, she's just a straight up total bitch. She was the one on Bad Girls Club going, I run LA, bitch, and all of this. And
yeah,
she's half black, by the way. She's black, Puerto Rican, and Brazilian descent. Her mom looks white. I think her mom is Italian or Puerto Rican, whatever. But anyways, I go looking for you, and I come upstairs, and then I go right into the kitchen, and I see Natalie Nunn in a little dominatrix outfit, and she's got on like a black strap on, and she is literally bending you over the counter, the kitchen sink table, and just fucking you in the ass. Because you didn't do the dishes. She was like, you left these fucking dishes dirty?
God.
And you're like, I'm sorry, mistress, I'm sorry. And she goes, you're gonna clean. Next time I tell you to clean these fucking dishes, you're gonna fucking do it, aren't you? Yes, mistress. And then after she's done fucking you, she goes, now go to your room. And you just walk away, and you just go into your room crying like a bitch. No offense. I don't want you to hit me for calling you a bitch, but so then later, so then it's my turn now, and of course she gets rid of the strap on, and she comes, get over here, and she sits me right on the chair, and she handcuffs me, and she says, "You're my little bitch." Oh, as a matter of fact, she was actually, when she was bending over and fucking you, she says, "Yeah, you're my little fag whore, huh? Are you?" And you went, "Yes, I'm your little fag whore." So anyway, so like she handcuffs me to the chair, and she says, "You're gonna do what I say. You understand?" "Yes." She goes, "Yes, what?" "Yes, mistress." And then she gets on top of me, cowgirl style, and rides the fucking shit out of me. So that's what happened in the dream. So yeah, look at it this way. At least I found you in the dream.
Yeah, this time you found me. That's for sure.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think you probably would have enjoyed the getting poked with a strap-on by a chick.
So what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. So I mean, you've been looking for women a lot. Maybe you've been looking in the wrong place. Maybe you need a dominatrix.
Oh yeah, maybe. Lady in the street, but a freak in the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, nothing wrong with little dominatrix. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
We've talked on other shows and such, about things like that. Like when 50 Shades of Grey came out, we talked all about that, and yeah, I've said before, I've been completely open that I think S&M and more violent, shall we say, modes of sex are completely natural and normal if they're consensual.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't go too far and stuff like that, even with porn, I have a limit, like, I'm not into the whole, rape porn where you're trying to think rape is sexy,
Yeah, exactly. I don't appreciate that either, because, and especially with, I don't know, if you go, if it's somewhere where you don't know where the video came from, then there's a chance it's actually real rape porn, and I don't appreciate that at all. But there is something that people want to explore with with that type of really rough and tumble or dominating type of way. So that I understand.
Yeah, and actually I can see Natalie Nunn being a bit of a dominatrix, because if you ever watch highlights of her being on the Bad Girls Club, I mean, she is a total bitch. I mean, she is a nasty bitch. I mean, she's sort of last time I saw her, she was on the mother-daughter experiment. That was like a reality show on Lifetime, and she was she was trying to change her attitude and stuff with her mom because her grandmother had died, and and she's like, "Oh, I'm worried that I disappointed my mother," and because her and her mom, I mean, they even had an argument, and and she cussed her out a few times. I mean, right. I'm like, dude, if I had said some of the stuff I said to she said, I mean, if I did that to my mom, I mean, I'd probably be dead. I'd be totally dead.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but she's she's a bit of a hot mess, and but for the most part, she's cool. She's, I still kind of jack off to her, even though she's a bit of a mess. By the way, speaking of hot messes, I saw Tila Tequila's lesbian porn
Oh.
Yeah, and I jacked off to it, and stuff. But here's the thing: I really have lost respect for Tila Tequila. Because of what I don't know if you heard about the stuff she said about Jews and Hitler.
No, and I probably don't want to hear about it.
Oh, yeah. You will lose all respect for her. I think, personally,
Yeah.
I think she's back on the drugs. I don't know if she's manic or it's because of drugs, but, she even has a rap song where she considers herself the new Hitler. Saying, like, she sympathizes with Hitler or something, even though she converted to Judaism. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, she's a fucking train wreck. I mean, I've lost all respect for her as a person. I mean, I still jack off to her pornos, but even then, yeah.
I don't know how you follow all these reality TV stuff. Like, that I've told you before. I've been pretty honest that some of the fighting stats and stuff is like a bit of a different language to me, and honestly a lot of times this reality TV stuff is kind of a different language to me too.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me personally, I kind of like it when there's like has-been celebrities or like they do like celebrities, certain type of reality shows. I mean, and plus it's also, I mean, as good as it is, makes for entertaining television, it's also at the same time, it's also kind of a little disappointing to see the train wrecks and stuff like that. Like, for example, like
yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've thought that for a long time, that you watch for the train wrecks and you watch for the for the fights, but or the confrontations, but
oh, I watch it for that too.
Yeah, exactly. But you watch for the train wrecks, but you then they then after a while are disappointed to see how low people have sunk.
Oh yeah, exactly. And also, speaking of reality train wrecks, Abby Lee Miller, her sentencing got rescheduled to December 2nd. It was supposed to be in October, but the judge who handled her court case for bankruptcy, he's actually retiring. So they had to reschedule it for December.
Oh, man.
Personally, I don't see what the big deal is. Can't they just get another judge in there? Like, okay, let's get another judge in here, like maybe in like a few weeks, and then we can do it that same month.
Right.
But she got lucky again. I don't know how she keeps getting lucky.
I was about to say. I mean, I'm sure it's better for them. That it's better for her and her defense team that that they extend it longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she is going to jail. I mean, we know that. We don't know if it's going to. Her lawyers want it to be like 6 months in jail and 1 year probation. They say most likely she'll get 2 years, or like they'll say like 24 months, 30 months.
Right.
How long is 30 months? Is that like 2.5 years, 3 years?
All right, well, let's do the math. 12 times 2 is 24. So 30 months is 2.5 years.
Oh, 2.5 years? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still a bit of a slap on the wrist, but, in jail, she'll hopefully learn a lesson. I mean, if she gets 6 months, I mean, that's really gonna be, like, really no justice. It's like, what, you're gonna be let out in 6 months? It's one thing if you, yeah,
that's like Paris Hilton shit there.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She should definitely get 6 months. I mean, she should, not 6 months, but 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Also, I saw the preview of the upcoming season of Dance Moms. I mean, there's even one part where she's just loses it. She's like taking off her shirt and she's in her bra, and it's like this woman is heading towards a mental breakdown. And plus, I heard at the audition not too long ago, like last week, she was mad at her executive producers and stuff like that because she held out auditions and they said like, oh, you didn't advertise it much. There was only like 11 people that came. Plus here's the other thing. She showed up 2 hours late.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So you know what? fuck her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Bottom line, fuck her.
Oh yeah, fuck Abby Lee Miller, man.
Mhm.
And you know what? I won't be surprised if those. Plus, they teased on the teaser trailer that the original moms will leave. They're saying like, I think we're done here. I think that's it because she's bringing in an elite team. You know, she got what she does. She whatever bad thing happens to her. I mean, not that I don't wish it on her or anything, but she gets what she deserves. I mean, she's a horrible human being.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, somebody get that bitch off the TV screen. Fuck her.
Right.
All right,
All right.
and now we're gonna go into chew on this. This is something that I wanted to discuss. It's about Roy Jones Jr. His last fight, he fought a journeyman. No surprise there.
Mhm.
But during the fight, he injured his right bicep, and and of course he got through the fight.
Right.
He got through it, and
Mhm.
I forget if he won or not. But at this point, I mean, he's still fighting, and it's just like I am just embarrassed, and I'm sad for Roy Jones Jr. at this point.
Mhm.
I mean, Roy Jones Jr. has, I mean, he should not be in a boxing ring. And this hurts me as a Roy Jones Jr. fan because, I loved Roy Jones Jr. watching all his fights in the 90s.
Mhm.
I mean, and that was around that time when, Tyson was getting out of jail and De La Hoya was becoming a star.
Right.
And also, of his accomplishments, I mean, going from middleweight to super middleweight to light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and heavyweight. I mean, it's one of those things where I mean, I hate to say this about the guy, but it's like he needs to sit down somewhere. I mean,
I mean, we've talked before on the show about how about how sometimes even the greats, even the legends, they're after a certain point, it's like it starts to wear off, and how long is too long to stay in their careers, and to stay in the ring, I think sad but true that it's probably not that much longer from their prime, and whatever, and like the last and some of the last good fights until they really should be sitting out. And what was that match that you were talking about? Like the match of the old original champions. You know what I'm talking about? The one that was like the older aging Titans, and you said they probably shouldn't have this match.
Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not one to say that old people shouldn't be able to do what they want to do, and
Yeah, exactly.
but when your skills start to deteriorate and you're not as sharp and stuff like it used to be, it's time to call it quits. I mean, like everybody has this mentality, or fans just be like, well, hey, George Foreman and what about Brett Favre and having all these careers? I mean, listen, not all athletes have those careers. I mean, we all can't. Athletes, they all can't be Bernard Hopkins and George Foreman and even Michael Jordan. I mean, Michael Jordan at a certain point he had to finally retire. During his years with the Wizards.
Right, exactly. And you talked about that on another episode that you felt like the Wizards, kind of went downhill. And yeah, so I mean, and yeah, it's not to say that they can't, still pursue certain things. It's not to say that they can't still, do certain things that they love. But the main thing that they're known for is athletics, and that's only there's only a certain window that you're still in good enough shape to like really do that, and you can always do something else after you're done.
I mean, people just have like an entitlement that fans get like a certain entitlement, like like certain people should just be around forever, and it doesn't really. That doesn't always happen.
Right.
Even in music. I mean, like look at. I mean, there's 3 bands.
Music and music and television and movies. That's it's a very different deal. You can do that longer into
Well,
depending.
I say music to a certain extent. Like for example, there's 3 bands that are on their last tour this year: Black Sabbath, the Go-Go's, and Aerosmith. And like
That's fascinating because, like, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of the classic rock. I was definitely into all of that, so
Yeah, the Go-Go's. I mean, like for example, when I was watching one of the music awards shows, and I found out that the Go-Go's were on their like last tour. They said that they were going on a last tour or whatever, and people were. I can see now people going like, "Oh, they're the Go-Go's and Vacation and Our Lips Are Sealed and they should be around forever." It's like, guys, they haven't had a hit record since the 80s.
Right.
And even if they were to come out with some new material, their new material doesn't draw a dick. The same thing with Aerosmith. It's like, yeah, they do good tours, they sell out arenas everywhere they go. I mean, and I love Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, those guys are from my hometown of Boston. But at the same time, their albums don't draw a dick anymore. This is not 1984. It's not 1993, 4, whatever year when Alicia Silverstone was in those videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the 80s. It's not the 90s. It's not even 2004 anymore.
Right.
At a certain point, you gotta call it quits. Even Black Sabbath. And I know a lot of Ozzy fans are gonna be like, "Oh, but it's Ozzy Osbourne. He's the legend of metal." And it's like, yeah, but guys, Black Sabbath hasn't hasn't sold dick in a while. Ozzy Osbourne hasn't sold dick in a while. And also, most of the original members of Black Sabbath, well, actually, I think these are the original members of Black Sabbath who are touring the last tour.
Okay.
And I think some of them are actually dead. I mean, some of them are dead. So it's like,
right.
At a certain point, you gotta move on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And and I say that as someone who does, like I said, big fan of the classic rock, of the alternative, whatever. Like, you do have to, accept that they'll be moving on at some point. I actually went to see the Eagles live just like 2-3 years ago, and that was fascinating. I love the Eagles. The Eagles and me go back. But they were calling it the History of the Eagles tour because they were basically, they're not making new songs, I don't think, and and it was about everything that they've already done, all the milestones that they've already come through, and they just played all their best songs, and they put on a very good show. But I know and I accept that that's what they're good for now. It's their if they do tour again, it would be the same thing that they play all their old stuff, all their greatest hits, and that's what they're good for, and they'll be remembered for being around for so long, for decades. But then that's going to be it. They are starting to go into the history books, and that's fine with me.
Well, yeah, exactly. Plus, aren't the Eagles in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, guys, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Their legacy is cemented.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think that's the other thing with all of them, with Black Sabbath, with Ozzy, whatever. That we also as fans want to look back on their glory days, and once you are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you should start stepping aside, once it's time.
Yeah, exactly. And bringing it back to sports here, listen, we all can't be Rocky Balboa or George Foreman where we can just defeat the odds at an old age. It catches up with you. And Roy Jones Jr., listen, he's got.
It's interesting that you say Foreman because he also has his grills, his merchandise. That's a whole different, business that he can keep doing. You know what I mean? That's a very different very different business, and it's a alternative. It's an alternative path if he were to still be employed. He can do that. He doesn't have to be doing fighting because fighting is very limited. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. And and plus with Roy Jones Jr., here's the thing. I mean, it's really tarnishing his legacy. I mean, tarnishing his legacy. Today's boxing fans, I hate to sound like an old guy because I'm 29 and I'll be 30 in a few months.
Right.
But, they see Roy Jones, they look at Roy Jones Jr. as the former fighter who now does commentary on HBO and fights journeymen, and, he's not an elite level fighter anymore. When we think of Roy Jones, we think of the guy that beat James Toney, the Montel Griffin fights, and beating that guy. Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking out on his name. When he won the heavyweight title.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we think of that Roy Jones, but now that Roy Jones Jr. is dead and gone. Roy Jones Jr. He's a it's John Ruiz that he beat. John Ruiz, that's what I meant. He's from Chelsea.
I was about to say I'm going to be no help with names.
Yeah, he's from here in Massachusetts, Chelsea.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Roy Jones Jr., he's got a good career as a commentator on HBO Boxing. He has his own promotion, Roy Jones Jr. Boxing Promotions, which sometimes appears on the CBS Sports Network. He's actually a trainer for Jesse Vargas, who's fighting Manny Pacquiao. And, he should, it's time to hang it up.
Right.
Granted, he's not, he's not punch drunk. He has all his memories and stuff like that. He's not, he doesn't have no brain damage whatsoever, thank God.
Right.
But at this point in his career, he really needs to retire. It's, it's sad. He's
and you do make a good point about the legacy and that type of thing. And we talked before. We talked about the Shamrock whatever match and
Shamrock Gracie
match, and we've talked about like the idea that even if they're like basically able to fight, still, what does that actually do? But like give us new memories of them, declining, of them going downhill. Whereas we want them to keep fighting because we like the old memories, we like the memories of their glory days. But that's much more of a balancing act than we think. That if they keep going too long, then we have the new memories of their fights where they're completely in their decline. And it's not what it used to be. Why not just start to step back and us as fans or whatever start look back to their glory days.
Exactly.
Because that's what we want to hold on to in anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, also because I'm wearing a Patriots shirt, and football season starts next week. That's right. Operation Suicide Mission is going to be in effect for these 4 games without Brady. But let me tell you something. I love Tom Brady. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback. He's up there with Namath, Aikman, Starr, Montana, Elway. He's up with those greats.
Yeah.
But 5 years from now, if he's still playing and he's on a decline, I don't know how old he is, but if he's 40, if he's in his 40s and he's declining and still playing, I'm gonna be like, sit your ass down somewhere. Because look, he's got the rings, he's got a smoking hot wife, he's got some good kids out of it. So it's like, just be done. I'll be so disappointed if Tom Brady is in his 40s playing, and he's not playing at a high level.
Right, exactly.
I'd be so disappointed, and I'm a Patriots fan too.
By the way, Gisele Bündchen had her last catwalk during the Olympics. I was shocked to hear that, and I was like, why are we not, why are we accepting that? Why do people accept that? She looks fantastic, and she had her last catwalk. I mean, it's poetic that it was on the largest stage in Rio, Brazil. But she's having her last catwalk looking the way that she does, and we accept that when it's models. Why don't we accept it when it's athletes?
Well, Giselle says that she's still gonna do modeling for for underwear and stuff like that, magazine stuff. But she's moving more towards the business side and stuff like that. And plus,
Right.
She's got kids and all. And
Yeah, exactly.
it's like that old Kenny Rogers song. You got to know when to hold 'em,
Yeah.
know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. You gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to fold them.
Exactly.
And that's gonna be it for now. We're gonna fix the thing on our Facebook, or try to fix the thing on our Facebook thing, because I wanted to do some blogs and couldn't do a blog for some reason, but we'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
Okay.
And check us out on youtube.com/BloodyKnucklesTV. And tune in next week, because we got a big fight next weekend. Big fight weekend. And who knows? Maybe I'll have another wet dream story for you guys. And
right.
Maybe it won't involve you getting fucked in the ass.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, so from Beantown to your town, the Beantown Beatdown, Matthew Barris,
Gabe Shamus,
Vios con Dios.